Where do you got KD all time? Carlos.
Where do I got KD all time? He's somewhere between 15th and 20th, 15 to 25.
Mm-hmm. 25.
Yeah, that's not. I got him between like 25 and 30.
25.
What's that? That sounds about right.
So y'all,
I'm not gonna break it.
You rank the old heads.
Okay.
Like the old heads. You rank like.
Man, he's top 15.
Yeah, you rank like Bill Russell and him.
I can't break Bill Russell, bro.
Oh, I don't rank anyone pre 2000. When I'm talking rankings 15? Now. Listen. I said when I'm talking rankings now, I'm not gonna take in.
Whoa.
Like,
when he's I was like, okay, 15 through 25. Bill Russell and Jerry West and them. All right. He's telling me everything's in the last 25 years and he's 15 at best.
No. Okay. I'm tripping. Look. He's 15 to 25 all time. If I'm taking out pre 2000s, he's top 15, top 10.
He's top 5. He might be top 5.
Yeah,
so before, I want to make sure I'm following you.
We've been down this road before, by the way.
Los, I want to make sure I'm following you, Los. So from 2000 to today, you're telling me that there's 15 players in NBA history better than him. Is that what I'm understanding from you?
In the last 25 years, there's 15
You
guys.
can argue, yes.
Hey, look, I'm your tag team partner. If you need help, just call me.
Go ahead. I want to hear this.
Please call.
Raise your hand.
What are we saying? How did we get to disrespect?
Just raise your hand, brother. It's not disrespect.
I don't know how we're approaching
much is crazy. In the last 25 years, there's not 3 basketball players better than Kevin Durant. Like y'all, we throwing all.
Come on.
No, top 10. I'm thinking about it
now. 7 feet tall, and he can dribble better than everybody.
I said 15 to 10. I said 15 to 10.
I think
I want to hear
everybody that's 7 feet tall and what they can do with the basketball.
None of them. When you think KD's next, I just want to hear the names.
Okay, I'm gonna go, and this is not in any order. Okay, I'm just gonna say the names.
This is crazy.
I'm gonna go Jokic
myself.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Jokic. I'm gonna go Giannis.
Giannis.
I'm gonna go Braun, of course.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Prime D Wade.
Keep going.
I'm gonna go Tim Duncan.
Yes, sir.
Tim Duncan.
I'm gonna go.
Stay right in that era. You hot right now. Stay right there.
I know that early 2000 era is insane. I'm gonna go T-Mac.
Crazy.
Tracy McGrady?
Yes, sir.
What?
Bro, stop
Now you
cooking, bro.
Now you cooking.
No, he ain't cooking.
Now you cooking.
No, he ain't
You cooking with some hot ass grease.
You do
Hey, Steph Curry. I'm gonna go Steph Curry.
Tracy McGrady.
That's 7.
Respect Max Sauce.
Thank you.
No. N-O. No.
Well, I keep going.
Not better than Kevin Durant.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay,
That's 8. That's 8.
Thank God he said somebody.
I can come up with 4 more, 5 more. I'm
No, it's one guy that you just forgot. Yes.
Kobe.
My fault.
Yes, you did forget Brian.
Kobe.
That's
Kobe.
9.
That's 9.
And he could keep cooking y'all, but he just
Steph?
He said Steph.
He said Steph. Okay.
I said Steph.
They play
Like
on
I-
the same
like-
team.
like-
We saw them play together.
Wait, Los. Did you say Kawhi?
No.
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard.
Hey, Rob.
You don't even believe that. You're just saying names now. You don't even
Hold
believe that.
on. Los, make a case for why Kawhi Leonard is better than KD.
Oh,
Go.
Kevin Garnett.
He led a team that was not supposed to be.
You
a championship
directly
contender.
contradicting your Tracy McGrady.
100%.
What you mean?
Don't worry about it.
That's not.
I'm talking
I already
T-Mac.
cooked Dell on this before. I cooked Dell on this before.
I'm taking T-Mac.
McGrady
You're
never made it out the first round.
Like we're picking and choosing which logic.
We're not picking. We're not.
Basketball.
Besides, damn, T-Mac's Hezzy Pool look good. Like what? KD got a Hezzy Pool too, Los. You know that.
It's way better than Tracy McGrady's.
So how is T-Mac? How do we get to T-Mac?
Yes, Ron.
What other
Yes,
names is crazy
it's
too,
better
but
than
T-Mac?
Tracy McGrady's. KD, Tracy McGrady.
I
Yes.
thought I was-
and I'm
You
gonna
know
say
what?
it
You know
one
what?
more
Chill.
time.
The only
Tracy
difference.
McGrady.
The only
Yes.
difference between KD. The only difference between Tracy and T-Mac is Steph Curry.
And T-Mac was way more athletic than Kevin Durant. T-Mac was way
That's
more
a
athletic
fact,
than Kevin
and that's a
Durant.
fact.
So is Gerald Green. Is Gerald Green better than KD too? Gerald Green's more athletic than Kevin Durant.
T-Mac over KD. And Kawhi overpaid it plenty of times. I'll do it again.
This is my point. So now we have KD falling out the top 10.
No, we don't.
No, we do not. We do not. Get to the bottom of that. But I think it's also interesting.
I hear you though.
I'm with you.
That we're in 2025, and because we're in 2025, we do forget. Los, do yourself a favor. Go watch 2012. Go watch 2013 KD. Go watch that athlete. Go watch that dude getting downhill. Go watch.
Would you like me to send you some T-Mac tape? Would you like me to send you
once
some
again,
T-Mac tape?
go watch that dude getting downhill. Go watch that dude finishing at the rim. Go watch that dude in transition. Go watch that dude off the dribble with his weak hand and with his strong hand. Go watch that dude at the free throw line. Go watch KD, and then come back and talk to me about an athlete. And by the way, KD's 6'10". By the way,
I will reach out to I'll reach out to T-Mac and have him give you a call. Look, at the end of the day, chill. Look, at the end of the day, KD is great. The last 25 years, basketball has really changed. I think we get lost in the aspect of seeing a 6'11" demigod, which he is. We see a 6'11" demigod with a jumper, and it is something we've never seen before. In terms of the efficiency, I get that aspect of it. However, when
he hasn't gotten worse. He's doing it. He's been through mad injuries, still doing it.
That exactly. And look, I respect.
What happened when T-Mac got hurt? He was not good
because T-Mac had a real bag.
Ron.
So now
what do you mean? If you get hurt and your
injuries?
game becomes significantly worse than a player who got hurt,
maybe my body just isn't as like. That's like taxing
every
other.
That's not Kevin Durant.
No, here's what I'm saying though. That
doesn't make T-Mac worse.
Yeah, that's like taxing every other player in NBA history because LeBron's built like Iron Man.
No, that's just giving LeBron his credit for being Iron Man. He's like.
I just think Kevin Durant's bad in T-Mac.
It's not just KD's shot though. It's his handle for his size. It's his finishing ability at his prime. It's his first step. He had one of the quickest first steps in his prime.
Y'all act like T-Mac wasn't 6'9" though. Like T-Mac was
nice
KD before KD.
Nice
KD could do everything T-Mac can do at a more efficient level.
He don't pass like T-Mac.
Height was 6'9".
Him and T-Mac's passing is like Jokic.
No,
and Andre Drummond. It is
Jokic and Andre Drummond.
Jokic and Andre Drummond. It is look. The gap in between them is a whole.
In terms of what?
Hey, it's Dallas, Texas.
Actually, I agree. T-Mac's
between their
playmakers.
He's a much better.
It's not even. It's not even. Hey, I see. T-Mac do things with the ball.
That was how
KD's a dreamer.
But that's not where it stops at though, Ron. Because we've talked about this before. The difference in athleticism, though, being able to like getting to the rim both ways, left, right. Just the way he can explode, get off the ground much faster. He was in a way different tier of athlete.
Yeah,
way different level. Would y'all say Dirk better than KD? Would y'all say Dirk better than KD?
No, KD obsessed that with length. Like that's the difference.
No, Mark. You can't.
KD doesn't have athletic flaws. I
didn't say he has athletic flaws. I'm talking about Tracy McGrady's athleticism, and you can't offset that level of explosion with having arms a little longer. When you get off the ground as fast as Tracy McGrady used to get off the ground,
when it takes you one stride to get to the rim.
I hear what you're saying, Mars, but you can't offset that level of explosion. You know what I'm saying? Getting off the ground that quick. Because it will be different. It will be different if Tracy McGrady was 6'5". It will be different. I can get with you, but when the dude is 6'9", you get off the ground that fast, both hands,
bigger than 6'9".
T-Mac more
evidence.
I'm talking about
T-Mac. Like when I'm looking at KD and I see he's getting off the ground. Kevin Durant was a freak athlete in my opinion.
Yes,
I agree. Tracy McGrady was more explosive. But what I'm saying is, I don't think the gap is exacerbated when Kevin Durant has a stride length that gets him from the 3-point line to the rim in one dribble. So I think that offsets
anybody can get to the rim in one dribble. That's not a big deal in the NBA.
From half court to the paint in one dribble. Like same. My point is Kevin Durant covers more ground than Tracy McGrady. I think Tracy McGrady is a more superior explosive athlete.
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at Prize Picks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With Prize Picks, you can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections and every single stat line imaginable to make your prize picks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5 here with Prize Picks. So what are you waiting for? Download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. Prize Picks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
I think that. I agree with that. I don't think.
What about Kevin Garnett? What about Kevin Garnett?
KG, I think, is better than Kevin Durant. But
wait,
I don't
not way
think.
better, but
I don't think that Tracy McGrady's explosiveness is enough to justify being better than Kevin Durant when Kevin Durant, A, was one of the most explosive players in the NBA in his own right, B, had way better measurables than Tracy McGrady, and his athleticism never held him back. If his athleticism held him back, if his inability to explode in traffic held him back, if his inability to navigate bodies in the paint held him back, then sure. But it didn't. In fact, he benefited from that. So that's why I don't agree with what you're saying. I understand Tracy McGrady's strength. I understand that. What I'm saying is, in a conversation against Kevin Durant, I don't think it helps him that much. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say when it offsets that, I don't think it does.
And that's fine. That's fine. That's my thing is that wasn't the only reason. On top of that, I don't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't think Tracy McGrady's better than Kevin Durant. Okay, I've just jumped in the conversation having fun. But I do 100% believe that the difference in athleticism is so vast. You know what I'm saying? The explosion is so vast. The quickness, the change of direction. It's so vast that being 2 inches longer doesn't make up. When you're that quick and that fast off the ground, the stride length it definitely does not make up for it.
What about the jump shooting?
I mean, KD has a 7'6" wingspan, so we can minimize it to 2 inches of height. But you have said it yourself.
Right.
You don't play basketball.
I didn't say
7'6"
I didn't say 2 inches of height. I said 2 inches. I'm thinking length. T-Mac was super long. I just said a number, Mars. I just said a number. Whatever that number may be, it doesn't trace it. Like when you match them up, the explosion is. I personally think it's very big. Like the range is very big. I think Tracy McGrady, as far as measuring athleticism, I don't think it's close at all.
Oh, like that's what we disagree.
Okay. Now we found our disagreement. That's our disagreement.
Yeah.
Because I understand when you're longer, you can make up for it, but I don't think KD can when it comes to Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, because you think the gap in athleticism is more vast than I do, so I think the length can offset it. Okay, there we go.
But is the gap in athleticism?
Simple disagreement. Good one.
Is it bigger than the gap in the jump shooting between the two?
No.
Man, Tracy had a ratchet.
KD's a top 5 jump shooter ever.
KD way back. But look. This is why I don't like this conversation, Brad, because when we put KD against T-Mac, now we got to talk about, what ifs with T-Mac, and then we got to compare certain things. And then when we talk about KD versus another person, then it's accolades. So now we're all over the place with KD. It's basically, what can we say about KD to make him lose this argument to this player? That's what we got into, bro.
I agree.
That's your fault, Los, because you started
about one thing is, he got more accolades. He did this, and then we get to
T-Mac. The issue is KD has more accolades than down there everyone he named.
KD's better than T-Mac, y'all.
When you're ranking players, and when you're trying to say, okay, I think this player is top 15, and then you guys say, well, who's above him? Well, then you got to make an argument for who's above him. So I mean, that's just
but the argument has to be logically consistent.
Uniform. It's not the same for all the
players. You can't say I value this to this guy, but then it doesn't work for this guy. So I value this different thing. Like
you guys are asking for a dead set criteria. That's not possible.
Yes, it is.
I asked for a logically consistent criteria. That's what I asked.
How is a dead set criteria possible?
Because
like
you ranking who's better.
You decide what you value. Like let's say I value.
What you just said, what I value.
But let's say for example, I value I only value one thing: scoring ability, scoring Arsenal. That's it. That's all I value. If I then tell you Bill Russell in my top 10, Like, what we gonna
do? No one's gone that. That's extreme. No one's sending.
But what I'm saying is, when you say about Tracy McGrady, the bag, the skill set,
you're asking me,
and then you ask about Kawhi, and then you say Kawhi led a team to a championship, knowing damn well Tracy McGrady never got out the first round. That logical inconsistency is what throws people.
You can also say Kawhi maybe the most efficient, one of the most efficient.
Then why? That's what you say. That's what you say, and then you become logically consistent. That's the point.
I don't need, but that's
you made the logically consistent argument. That's the point. Not saying that a logically consistent argument didn't exist. You didn't make it. That's the point. There is an argument that you can just purely skill set T-Mac and purely skill set Kawhi. That argument exists. You talk about Kawhi's two-way ability, Kawhi being himself one of the best mid-range shooters ever, Kawhi having an elite handle for a guy his size, Kawhi being one of the best perimeter defenders we've ever seen. All of those things, Kawhi being extremely.
We talk about Kawhi now?
Make sense. And then you talk about Tracy McGrady's skill set, the hezzy pull-up, the passing ability, the fact that at 6'9", he was a freak athlete for his size and he was doing things that we hadn't seen before. That's also a logically consistent argument. But that's not what you did. What you did was say Kawhi led a team to a championship and Tracy McGrady's skill set is better than KD's. You was logically inconsistent. That's the issue we have.
It's not, because what you just said is absolutely accurate. That's why I have these thoughts. Like, but I'm just putting the breadcrumbs out there. If you want to eat, go ahead, eat. You just went ahead and you
want us to make the argument for you?
I'm not making look, I'm just ranking players. I don't care to make an argument about anything. I'm telling you who I think is top 10. Y'all asking me is KD, Kawhi, this, that, and the third. Cool. Kawhi is a better leader than KD. Kawhi is a better scorer, in my opinion.
How do you know what Kawhi's leadership is?
Why are you saying that? Kawhi did that one time. The rest of them years,
how do you know what Kawhi
Spurs? He was not the leader, though. We're not going to say Kawhi was the leader of the Spurs.
He looked like the leader to me.
What did he do that made him look like the leader?
He led the Raptors. Cool. That's fine. What about all these Clippers teams that have failed?
Kevin Durant led. Who has he led?
Leadership. No, wait. Hold on, Jay. Hold on, Jay. Leadership can't overcome catastrophic injury.
Facts.
But how do you like my?
But if we talk about Kawhi, I got Kawhi over KD. I don't got T-Mac, but I got Kawhi.
Yeah. How do you know what Kawhi's leading?
That's what I'm saying.
How do you know what Kawhi's leading?
There's no way to measure that.
Galvanize people. He don't do nothing.
There's no way to measure that.
Wait a minute.
I know a lot of people in Toronto would say Kyle Lowry was their leader.
The way we could get to the bottom of that.
The problem is,
Los, let me ask you this, Los. Before you answer that question, Los, let me ask you.
What Penn? No Toronto fan said Lowry was the leader. How do we know?
So what I'm asking, Los,
he don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Los, when you talk about Los being a leader, what constitutes a leader in your estimation?
A leader to me is when the going gets tough, you get going.
That's it. Is that it?
It's that simple. That's simple. When the going gets tough, you get going. Everybody knows they can look at you, and this dude is going to figure out a way to get us to our final destination.
So what happened in 2016 when the Spurs lost to the OKC Thunder in the second round?
Kawhi wasn't the leader.
You talking about when Tony Parker kept looking him on?
Dates on when he was a leader. So that one year he was a leader.
Yeah, he graduated to leadership.
That's the year Tony.
What
Parker
happened this year against the Nuggets in Game 7?
Kawhi has failed a lot for this to say he's a great leader. Like he had the 1 year.
Everybody in this era has failed a lot. Like besides Steph Curry,
I think that's
everybody else has failed a lot.
Him too.
Curry too.
I just think that number one,
the failing a lot thing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You want a logical, Mars. To your point, you want a logical argument for everything. Some things are. I'm not personally. You're not gonna be able to put logic on everything, especially in the game of in sports. You can't put logic on everything.
You can put logic.
You can. I can sit here and tell you Tom Brady's a great leader. You're gonna tell me he's not?
No, what I'm going to tell you is to prove it.
How? You just said I can't tell who's a leader, who's a great leader.
No, what I'm saying is, how do you know that Kawhi was a leader? I never said you don't know. I said, how do you know? Two different things. I never made the assertion that you don't know. I asked, how do you know? And you never told me how you know. And then you said leadership is when and then you said leadership is when the going gets tough that you get going. Then I would ask you, and there's so when Kevin Durant has been down in series,
Bars, you tell me what you would consider a leader now. I want to hear how beautifully exquisite your answer is. What would you say a leader is?
I consider leadership as what you do with your teammates. How do you make your teammates better? Do you lead by example? Do you lead vocally? I think leadership is just do people look at you in times of need, and even when things are going well, do people look at you to keep the ship steady? That's leadership to me. Now I will say,
what I just said.
Now I will say I don't use leadership to evaluate players because I'm not in the locker room with these guys. I don't know what Kawhi does as a leader. I don't know. Criteria. Yeah, and that's fine. So that's why I ask, how do you know what KD and Kawhi do? We can agree on a definition of leadership. That's perfectly fine. I never disagreed.
When I lose with my guy,
what I disagreed with was your idea that you knew what Kawhi was doing. That's what I disagreed with. I don't disagree with your definition of leadership. I think leadership has a very coherent definition. There's a very coherent definition of leadership. But how do you know
he won a championship
was doing as a leader? How do you know what Kawhi was doing?
How was he not a good leader? Was that good leadership? You just want to ring with?
My thing is, we can see leadership, like, although we don't know who's the vocal leader and who's firing up the troops and all of that in the huddle and doing all
Shea ain't no leader. Ain't no leader.
Who's arriving to practice early and leaving late? We don't know who's doing all of that. But what we do know is, like my man Lowe said, who's leading on the court, who's leading their teams to victory. Kawhi's leadership to championships has been more impressive than Kevin Durant's. It just has.
He has one run.
No, but you can't discount 14.
You can't discount.
Yes, you can.
Why can't you? With three Hall of Famers,
you said
with 3 Hall of Famers.
I
said leading on the court.
Leading on the
court.
Kawhi was not the Spurs' best player that year.
He did not lead on the court. He played good.
In the finals. How did he get Finals MVP?
Games of leadership.
Did he lead in the series? Did he lead in the series?
No, he was not the
KD led the Warriors.
No, he did. Did you guys not hear what I said? Did you not hear what I said? I said Kawhi. I said Kawhi's leadership in those moments was more impressive than Kevin Durant's.
In the finals, when he played with the dynasty.
So in your estimation,
so who did Kevin Durant play with? The dynasty what?
So one could argue,
but that's why I'm not talking about leadership. I'm just saying
one could argue, you can't get outplaying Stephen Curry. Outplaying Stephen Curry in the finals is more impressive than outplaying 38-year-old Tim Duncan. Is it not? Outplaying Steph Curry in the finals is more impressive than outplaying 33-year-old Tony Parker. Is it not? Outplaying Steph Curry in the finals is more impressive than outplaying 36-year-old Manu Ginobili. Is it not?
I beat.
Why are we only
the Heatles?
The Warriors
hold on.
Also beat the same player you're praising.
No, I said the Heatles. I said the Heatles.
They actually weren't good.
You're only a good leader if you win the championship.
Chris Bosh declined, and D Wade had heavily
still was the Heatles
by 2014. They were the names on paper. But they weren't the same team as they were in 2012.
Still was the Heatles.
Are you only a good leader if you win the championship?
But when you watch that series unfold, if you're going to tell me leadership is what you do on the court, and then you admit Kawhi wasn't the Spurs' best player in 2014.
I didn't admit that. I didn't admit that.
Well, if you think he was, then we can have that conversation. Even if you think he was, it definitely wasn't definitive. But what you said was leading on the court, and then you said in the finals. It was a 5-game series. So for 5 games, Kawhi Leonard, we can say, was the Spurs' best player in that series. I still think that's even debatable, but we can have that conversation, and we can say Kawhi was. Congratulations, Kawhi Leonard deserved his finals MVP. He was great in the finals. Cool. Then, in that same argument, Kevin Durant, you would have to say, led the Warriors in the finals against what some people would argue is the greatest player ever in his prime, blah, 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 and was outplaying better players on his team. He led in a series that had Steph Curry in it. Prime Steph Curry. Top 10 player of all time in a lot of people's estimation. Steph Curry on the team. He led by your estimation. So what are we talking about when we say what's more impressive? Is it more impressive to outplay Tony Parker, Danny Green, and old Tim Duncan, or to outplay Steph Curry? What's more impressive?
First off, 2019 clears everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's why he said it was one run. But then you tried to bring up 2014.
It starts with when you combine both of them, when you combine both the Kevin Durant's and when you combine 2019 and 2015, 14, when I'm a young pup, I'm not even supposed to win this Finals MVP. I'm taking a LeBron fade, and I got Finals MVP. When you combine both of those,
AD took the LeBron fade twice and got Finals MVP twice.
He didn't take the LeBron fade.
He actually took the LeBron fade.
He did not take the LeBron.
He did.
What are we constituting as leadership?
You can watch the series. Kevin Durant guarded
so much gray area.
Everybody guarded LeBron a little bit in that series.
Everyone guarded LeBron.
Everybody looked.
I think
Ron and Lowe.
Is leadership only the person that wins the championship? Is that
no?
So when Kevin Durant took the Young Thunder to the NBA Finals and he beat the Spurs and the Lakers and all those teams,
Russell Westbrook was the leader of that team.
So now Westbrook is the leader. Kevin Durant had the better stats. all the time.
But see, Los,
so now Westbrook's the leader because what? Because he's loud.
But you see, Los, and this is what I didn't want to have to do this.
So now we have to debate on who's the leader, because now I'm gonna say Kevin Durant was the leader. So
okay,
what
okay, but
this is what y'all are saying. I'm saying KD was the leader.
Okay, and you can say that, and that's cool. KD has led a lot of teams with a lot of Hall of Famers, a lot of All-Stars, a lot of potential. Hold on, wait, you don't even know where I'm going. A lot of Hall of Famers.
No, I do know.
A lot of All-Stars, a lot of, and KD has more that he's led to nothing. Yeah, he's been conference championships getting bounced out. Hey, second round exits. All of this. KD has had the best assortment of talent out of any superstar, not naming LeBron James, and he might have a better collection than LeBron James.
How?
Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, James Harden again. Who's he with right now? Devin Booker, Chris Paul.
They're bad teams, though.
Who? Hey, next year.
You see how people try to do it and switch the
what's bad teams?
The Suns right now are a terrible team.
Okay, we can get the Suns out of there. He's still with Devin Booker, and he's still got Bradley Beal, but we can get him out of here. Whatever. Okay. Let's get the Suns out of here. Let's get the Suns out of here. We can keep going.
You're not talking about what happened, though. You're just talking about the players he played with. What about when James Harden got hurt? What about when Kyrie got hurt? What about when Kevin Durant got hurt and he couldn't play with Russell Westbrook when they were in their prime? What about all the stuff that he's had to deal with? You're only saying that
there's never been a genuine Kevin Durant conversation on this platform.
I just think that.
So what about when Kawhi gets hurt? Then we can do that then.
For sure. But listen, I just think that leadership is used as something to discredit Kevin Durant often, especially in these conversations. I don't think pound for pound Kawhi is a better player than Kevin Durant. I just don't believe that. I think Kevin Durant at his best is better than Kawhi Leonard at his best. And I think that when we try to frame the 2019 Raptors as a one-man show, we are being disingenuous 100. Because that team was so full of depth. They had Fred VanVleet and Norman Powell coming off the bench with Serge Ibaka, and they had Danny Green on that team with Pascal Siakam and Marcus Gasol midseason trade, Kyle Lowry. They had 3 all-star level players with Siakam, who was most improved that year. You can argue 4 all-star caliber players, and Marcus Gasol was locking up in that entire postseason run. So I don't feel like that was a one-man show, and I don't want to discredit the championship because Kawhi won a championship, but they beat the Warriors because Kevin Durant did get hurt against the Rockets. He did rupture his Achilles in the NBA Finals.
So somebody on this panel made the original point that we don't need to be, and I agree that we can't negate the fact that these teams won championships.
Yeah, what happened. That's fair. But Kevin Durant also was not able to play in that final series, and the Raptors faced a hobbled Warriors.
It's what happened until we talk about KD. Then it's over.
Not just KD getting hurt, but also Klay Thompson tearing his Achilles as well, getting an ACL injury. ACL injury as well. So there were things that happened to that Warriors team that they were depleted at that point in time. And the Raptors just had a lot of depth. Okay. But the leadership thing is such a gray area. That's why I don't like getting into it.
That's fair.
I will say this, Lo.
That's why I said leading on the court, though. I'm just saying, like KD, you got 17 years in the NBA.
Joe, finish your point.
I understand
17 years.
My thing with Los is that this conversation. This conversation turned into a top 10 player is KD, a top 10 player since 2000, which I think that's fair. And I think the players that you listed, I mean, you could definitely argue he's 10 and 15 range. But what it started with was the scoring title graphic and how Kevin Durant had 4 scoring titles. And you use that to say, well, how much does that really matter or impact winning? But then you use Tracy McGrady and prop them up over KD when Tracy McGrady had scoring titles, but that clearly didn't equate to any type of winning in the playoffs at all. He never got out the first round. He blew a 3-1 lead in the playoffs as well.
It's how we got to that spot, though. I originally didn't mention T-Mac. Then we started saying, can you name 10 players better than who you think 10 players are better than Kevin Durant? And then that's when T-Mac came in. At the end of the day, like I told Mars, there is no to make a logical argument. Everybody has their own set of criteria for it's basketball. We all got our own. It can be logical though.
That's the point.
That's fair. And Mars, to your point,
as
far as I heard you say that we've never had but the panel has never had a logical argument.
Genuine.
What does that look? In all seriousness, no, because I am a basketball enthusiast. I consider myself a basketball enthusiast. I love the game. What do you think that looks like? What do you think a genuine conversation around Kevin Durant? Just briefly, I'm not asking for you to give me
a conversation that is rooted in basketball and not a bunch of narratives and stuff that can't be proven. It always turns into you didn't like the decision he made, so then you tax the years in which he had success. Then you talk about the fact that he's not a leader, and then we ask, oh, what is leadership? Blah blah blah, and it just turns into a bunch of stuff away from the basketball. I understand leadership happens on the court, but what I'm saying is, it turns into a bunch of things away from how Kevin Durant or whoever he's being compared to, or just even if Kevin Durant is in a conversation just about Kevin Durant, it will just turn into we can't give KD credit for anything that's happening. A, because he made a decision 9 years ago. B, because he's not the leader of his team. And then when he is the leader of his team, they don't win anything. But we'll ignore all of the reasons why they aren't winning. It's Kevin Durant's fault. And it's like, we just don't talk about basketball when it happens to Kevin Durant. Like, that's my issue. Kevin Durant.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
Because he made the most divisive decision in NBA history.
He brought emotion
and I want to make this abundantly clear.
Same way with LeBron.
Kevin Durant is a flawed basketball player. He's not perfect. And the reason I take up for guys like Kevin Durant so much, I think the same thing happens with Joel Embiid. So I take up for Joel Embiid a lot. I think the same thing happens with James Harden. So I take up for James Harden a lot. I'm realizing the same thing happens with Chris Paul. So I'm going to start taking up for Chris Paul as well. When it comes to those types of players, the conversation becomes so disingenuous and so away from basketball that I end up finding myself on the side where I'm defending them. I'm not as high on Kevin Durant as everyone is up here. I think I'm high on Kevin Durant. But I'm not as high. Like, I heard you say you questioned Tim Duncan when he said Tim Duncan was better. Like, I wouldn't question Tim Duncan. Like, I think Tim Duncan is better than Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Garnett is better than Kevin Durant. Like, so like I'm high on KD, but there's also like I'm not the utmost high on Kevin Durant. I think
I get what you're saying.
I'm high on KG. So like, I think I try to be objective about Kevin Durant, but I find myself arguing or debating with people who are so far on the other side of the fence to me that I end up seeming like a Kevin Durant glazer, which I don't think I am. Like, there are people who think Kevin Durant is the greatest scorer ever. I think he's second to Michael Jordan. I think MJ is the greatest scorer ever. There are people who think Kevin Durant is a top 5-10 player ever. I don't think he is that. There are people who think Kevin Durant clears Steph Curry. I don't think he clears Steph Curry. So like, I think I'm on a fairly reasonable plane of this, but I'm arguing against so many, in my opinion, unreasonable things about Kevin Durant that I end up having to take up for him. And it's like, I can't even talk about the flaws I think Kevin Durant has. They never even come up. The flaws of Kevin Durant's actual game never come up.
You're right. We don't ever talk about basketball.
And he hasn't won a championship. And that's my issue. Like, Kevin Durant has legitimate flaws as a player. And they never get brought up in the conversation. It's just a bunch of nonsense. And that's what annoys me.